Hello everybody, let's play some music and gather together and then we can start. And let me pick up a deck that I want to use today. So let's start with Happy. Hello. Where are the people? Where are the people? I started early. I know. Hi, Kylie. Look at this. Like in the southern hemisphere is here. New Zealand, Australia is here. Where is everybody else? So Barbo's here first. So no problem, guys. I'm going to be starting soon. I really took a nice break last week, and I really have to say, it's not only the weekend that I took for relaxing, but almost like the whole week. I was like a little bit, I would not say sluggish, but really in an R mode. How is everybody else doing? I mean, there are only 4 people right now, but 4 very worthy people. That's all it matters. Hopefully, more people will join in at 11. I started early because I was sitting here. I was talking to myself. I said, okay, should I just idle 5 minutes? I'll start. So I started. So welcome everybody. Welcome. One thing I didn't prepare is my little pad for Barbie. And where is it? So I can write the things for her. So here we are. Get that out and ready. And hopefully she has something. Alright guys, how is the stuff in Australia? How is the stuff in New Zealand? You guys are not as affected as the rest of the world, which is great. You're doing a great job seemingly. In Canada we're actually doing quite good job as well, flattening the curve, but it's driving everybody nuts that we have to endure this, but this is what it is, right? Let me see. I am just writing this for my pretty Barbie. Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer. This is what I mail her after the reading. Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio. So Aries, your birthday sucked, huh? Pretty much, I think, right? Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aqua, and Pisces. So we are going to start with Aries and celebrating your birthday. This week is a switch. We are starting with Taurus. So happy birthday in advance to Taurus. Hopefully, guys, you kind of have a really, really good time. So let's start. Aries, Aries. I'm going to pull one card from here, and I'm going to kind of like do the reading over here. So let's start. Aries, 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 Aries. I should do this more often, that I start on a dot at 11 with readings and gather people before. Well, Aries, nothing is coming out. Going stir crazy here myself. You are doing a good job. Yeah, you guys are a little bit isolated. Oh, there it is, Aries. You're getting something. You're getting Queen of Swords and King of Pentacles. I love what I see. These guys make a good couple. This is kind of like one of those balances in between cool-headed and somebody who knows, hey, you know what, you just cannot be all the time in your head. I also like the Queen of Swords here in this deck is presented with a kitty cat and the white cat, which kind of like, it shows she is very transparent. She has no secrets, but she also has a little bit sharp edges. And the reason why she has sharp edges is because, well, she's been through quite a bit, right? And so she kind of like knows what works, what doesn't work, and sometimes she can come across as abrasive. Not so much when she's in the upright. When she's in the upright mode, like, I mean, Queen of Swords is always logical, etc. So I don't know. Maybe this is simply talking about a transition, that maybe you're on the edge this first part of the week. So when we're on the 22nd, transition into Taurus, which this is clearly Taurus, as you can tell, that you're going to feel a little bit more relaxed, and maybe this is the late belated birthday celebration that is really happening, right? Ooh, I like the shark for Aries. Barbie, very creative. So this really tells me that maybe this was very stressful for you, and for somebody who is a go person, like, I mean, you have this exorbitant energy. So for you to feel stuck in time and or inside a house or being saddled with all these rules, it feels horrifying, right? So maybe you're trying to kind of like identify it for yourself, make it easy for yourself, and this is kind of like where this logical part kicks in. And then when the King of Pentacles turns into the second part, because this also can be a couple, if you guys are asking about couple questions, etc. This could mean a really good match. As I said initially, I really liked what I've seen, because these guys really complement each other. Like, he is sometimes too much working, too much carrying on his business without understanding that he needs to stop and smell the roses. So maybe she just got him this cake and he said, okay, listen, dude, you brought so much money, but let's celebrate now a little bit. Where he's telling her, okay, honey, kind of like, let's just relax for a little while. We don't have to mind the business and the obligations. So kind of really, really good couple. I mean, all of these phases, the court cards, interact differently. If you took my tarot course, then you would kind of realize the personality profile as well, but just need to trust me, these are really complementary personality. So you also got two things over here. You got engagement and separation. I really think this over here means that engagement with something or somebody would mean choosing something, not choosing something else or somebody else. So this could simply mean, let's say, maybe you're separated from your job and now you're engaged with on a home front. It's kind of weird. Like, some people are displaced, and I have been for a while, because I have been absorbing like so much energy, it almost collapsed me. It was just weird, like, right? So it was just like gooing on me. So it was sort of like a swim or sink kind of a situation, right? Where you really need to handle the things differently and realize how to create these barriers for our empaths, right? So this meant separation from certain things that I used to do, because you just realize where you are going wrong and you cannot help the whole world, and kind of like be a little bit more kind of like streamlined. So for you, it could be just something like that. Maybe it could be just that you are aware of somebody else, kind of like getting a grasp of something which maybe costs somebody something else. Maybe this is what it means, that you are cutting something off as well, right? But I can definitely see engagement and separation here crisscrossing, and this one jumped out right away, and it says healing begins. It was reversed though. This means it's kind of really interesting. It's a heart chakra that is activated. So something this week is going to be kind of bittersweet. Did somebody forget to put the sugar in this cake? I don't know. It could be just something really benign like that, I guess. But when this heart reverses, it means that there's like some kind of remembrance of some sort. Maybe you're getting a little bit sentimental, I guess, because when you have to go from the swords to pentacles, so you really have to ground yourself, right? And swords is like a really, really high, tensed, very nervous kind of like environment. Hello, California, where, you know, cups are like the earth is grounded, so you have to go through fire to get to earth. So you're kind of like grounding yourself, feeling kind of like, okay, I have to be here in 3D, and then you go into this emotional realm, like pulling it in the heart, which is that proverbial fourth dimension where you need to go. So I really feel, guys, that you're kind of like weeding out certain things this week that are not needed, but at the same time not forgetting yourself in the process. And I think this is really important for you to understand, right? Okay, so the next one is going to be Taurus. So let's see, Taurus, what do we have for you? And happy birthday to Taurus. And this is my old deck that's Sapphie spilled the coffee on it, but oh my gosh, I have a second deck, but this one is so freaking good. It gives me such good read. This is unbelievable. Hello, Kneading Yogi. Oh my gosh, I forgot to email it back to you. Kneading Yogi was so nice, and she responded to my initiative to kind of have a fireside chat, but I don't really think that people are interested. And I really think that everybody's trying to figure out what to do and overly engage at home. So we will probably have to do it some other time. She was offering, we just did Aries Kneading Yogi. She was offering to do tantric meditation, which I think would be freaking awesome. And I will see what I can organize with her differently, and maybe just play it on the channel. So let's kind of like leave it on a back burner for now. I will respond to you, Madame. Okay, what is next? I said Taurus, and Taurus, I was speaking for a whole minute, and you're thinking, where is my reading, my birthday reading? So let's start. Taurus, 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 happy birthday to Aries, happy birthday to Taurus, Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you. Let's see, Taurus. This one wants to come out, and you have 5 of Pentacles. Ooh, oh, that makes sense. I was thinking, like, why are you getting this? And then it makes sense all of a sudden. You're getting lots of cards here. So let's start with this. You have 5 of Pentacles. You have the Empress, your card. You're really showing up. Then you have 9 of Wands, and then you have 7 of Pentacles. I really feel, guys, that you feel possibly financially threatened, right? It's like 5 of Pentacles is that proverbial thing of feeling that you're disconnected from the source, right? It sometimes happens through, like, the signs of that is fear, right? And uncertainty. And whenever we feel this way, you know for sure you're disconnected. That means that you are exiting present and you're like entering past or the future. And this is like where you feel that discomfort. So the key here is to kind of like hold your power back and say, whatever it is, the manifestation outside, that manifestation came from inside, and I have to turn inward and I have to deal with that inward. And it's very, very important, right? And I think you're totally getting it this particular week. You are transitioning and you're saying to yourself, it's my freaking birthday. And this is simply possibly being affected with a pandemic and wondering how this is going to affect your property, your investment. You're saying everything that I really work for is now collapsing. But you're really finding a way how to reconfigure it, right? The Empress is really your card. It represents Venus. Venus is going a little bit retrograde. It's a kind of like it's a sucky part that is coming up, and I'm going to talk a little bit about Venus retrograde in a separate video because I really, when I start with my astrology, it goes on forever. And so this is going to be that nurturing component that is going to really come to the surface. And even though you might feel like I need to hold back a little bit, but I don't see that stingy. I don't see this like 4 of Pentacles thing, like kind of like me. I see this as like, fear, of course, that is generated from everything outside. But once that fear is released, saying, look, it is just for me as it is for everybody else. And this is just the configuration of the world, of the system. And I have the tools that are needed. You might feel a little bit kind of like defensive that you don't have that many wands and sticks to kind of like deal with because they're kind of like burned, but you still have them. And you do have the backing. It looks like, Tauruses, you're realizing that all of this hard labor is putting you actually in a better situation than most people. And once when you kind of like enter that safety of mind, remember how I said you're looking on the outside and this is kind of like becoming your inside. Once when that shift is happening, you're like again reconfiguring. So getting to this 7 of Pentacles, which is to me always the card of saying, okay, this works, this doesn't work. Let's weed out what doesn't work and let's continue with what works. So you're finding your completely new footing in a completely new system. You're realizing how to move forward and what to do. And this is generally that really grounding. Like, we have like these 3 cards with a little bit of, I think, birthday celebration, which is tainted. You cannot make this anything lavish, especially for those born this week. And I really think that kind of like bothers you. You are earth sign. Taurus is an earth sign, always likes the this pomp and celebration and showing off. Like just in Aries, we drew in a previous reading, we drew King of Pentacles, which is Taurus, and maybe your best friend is Aries, I don't know, but it just kind of shows like this big cake over here. And maybe this bothers you, but look at that, what jumped out. It jumped out soulmate. It says, yes, this is your soulmate. And that can actually relate to the Empress. Now, if you are a guy, then I think there is a woman that you have in mind who you find very, she's either voluptuous or you find her very, how to put it, luscious. It's almost like she is your lure woman. She is that one that you kind of like if you have to draw the perfect woman, this is the woman you would. Maybe you're idolizing her a little bit, but there are like, I mean, different aspects of her that are really appealing for you, to you, right? So there's like somebody you're putting on a pedestal and you really, really want that, or you're like really feeling connected with that person. If you're female, then you're going to realize that you have that core, which is really important, that is like really nurturing, that what you're giving to the world, what you are representing, you're going to really get in touch with who you truly are. So this is really, really important. And you got here dreams coming true. I mean, happy birthday, Taurus. Isn't this like pretty much what you would write on a postcard? Like, I wish you very good birthday. That's kind of like what it is. So you're going to get over whatever you're going through, like possibly this weekend, and kind of like dealing with this. And that's kind of like really important for you to know, right? So let's go next. And now I did this to birthday boys and girls. So who do I go next? Let me have a sip of coffee and think through it. Oh man, let's do Cancer. Gosh, I had a bizarre dream. I just remembered. I dreamt my ex-husband, Jesus, and he was a masseur in my dream. And I said, why did you go from stockbroker to a masseur? And like he started triggering me, all of the cheating and stuff that happened, and he was flirting with me. We were also divorced in my dream, luckily. I had the sense even to be divorced with him in my dream, but he was equally charming. So he just wanted us to get back together, and I said, no, you were triggering me back then, and I can just imagine like what you'll be doing it right now. It was something like that. It was so freaking weird. And he looked very different in a dream, almost like a little kind of, I say, gayish. Not that there's anything wrong with this, but it's very funny that I just remember. So let's see, why did I dream about Cancer? Cancer. Barbie is going, you're going to get the mess of this paper today. Cancer. We have the world. Here, and we have Canada. Let's not forget Canada, and Barbie's in the US. Barb, where are you? I keep forgetting. And I'm in Ontario, Toronto, Ontario, Canada. It's actually nice. It was sunny when I went to walk with Tiger, so we have 301. So yes, that's pretty cool. And I dreamt about this card. I just remembered. Do you know how I always say this is the card of ships, friendships, partnerships, relationships? But in my dream, somebody said you forgot one. Leadership, I guess. So that probably was the whole message of the dream, that you need to kind of be a leader. And then we have 8 of Pentacles, which is freaking awesome. And then you have a Page of Cups. Let's grab the other 2 cards so we can put it. Ooh, there it is. St. Louis Reconciliation. And let's see from this deck, what do we have here? Maine. You in Maine, like you have a similar weather to us, right? So this is also very lovely, guys. So you have 3 of Wands, you have 8 of Pentacles, you have Page of Cups, Reconciliation, and Nurture, the Empress, proverbial Empress card. So it's going to be also a week where I have a feeling that you may be started on some kind of project. So the project maybe was a business, as I said, relationship, friendship, partnership, or leadership. Maybe it called for you to be in charge of something. So maybe you started your business, maybe you're starting some kind of like new engagement, maybe you're starting a new relationship, maybe you're taking to the next level, right? So maybe somebody came out from the woodwork, and it's kind of weird. I don't know if you guys talking to other people. When I do, lots of things are happening that are, let's say, very karmic. People are now spending really time going deep inside, thinking about their life, thinking what they're truly doing. I don't know if you listen to Sirius FM with Chris Cuomo, talking about how he basically hates his job, that this is like full of lies, and that he has to kind of delve in that basically poo and sewage, that pretending that this is all a reality where it isn't. It's kind of like one of those things that is really important to address, that we all, when we go to work, kind of like we are not ourselves. But it sounds to me that you are getting it completely right. You're finding a system that is really working for you. Eight of Pentacles, look at her. She's cooking something and she's putting this last touches, and that last touches was exactly the part of that potion that is really, really needed. And now from that, it's going to drink this potion and create the magic, creating miracles. So whatever you were percolating for a while, and I would say not necessarily for a very long time, because wands are still fast. It could be in the last few weeks that you have been busy with something. Maybe you were troubleshooting something, it was a plan, maybe it had a few kind of like rough edges. Now it's pushing through and you're feeling really happy, you're feeling very enthusiastic about it, right? And this reconciliation says someone from your past is returning to your life. Now, this card, you know, like with these angelic cards, I don't always read this Disney kind of like little kind of like introduction, right? But this could exactly mean that, because you are kind of like one of those signs in astrology, right? You're guided by this moon, and the moon kind of like gives you all these visions and dreams, etc. So it's just enough for you to really connect with someone. And I don't know, maybe my husband was sending me these vibes in a dream or something, right? And then the nurture thing, it's very important. This is a Venus related card, and there is like this like light that is passing through you. I don't know if you guys are dealing with anything that is, let's say, beauty oriented, because Venus really regulates this stuff. But I can tell you that Friday is going to be super duper spectacular day for you. It's going to be something really special that will happen. You kind of like paid it forward, and karma is turning in a good direction, and certain things are going how they should be going, right? So that's really, really important. What, Chris is here? Where is Chris? I saw somebody saying Chris, but oh, there it is. I see you over here following up. So Cancer, you're going to be feeling nurturing. You will be nurtured. Somebody is coming back, or you'll be reconnecting with certain people. It could be like really that's going to be one of your Facebook projects. You will go and pick up your old friends from high school, and who knows where you go, like maybe even to freaking kindergarten, collecting all these people. And it's going to kind of like give you a really, really good feeling, really, really warm and really, really tender feeling. So next one will be Libra. It is just a random pick. So Libra, let's see what we have for you. Do you know, guys, Barbie is Libra, and Barbie is really, really helping me quite a bit. So we made it work, because before, and I mean, I can understand people complain, then they get basically hour and a half, 2 hours of material, and say, where is my sign? I want to see my sign. And that is really important for that, like, I mean, timestamps to come really quickly. And it's very hard for me to do it when I'm reading and then doing, and Barb always steps in. She always does it, and I'm so grateful to Barb, and hopefully everybody just gives her a round of applause. You know, we cannot, like, I mean, clap from our balconies, but we can go yay, yay, yay. So thanks, Barbie. So let's see, and Barbie's Libra, so let's see what we get here. Oh, Libra. Ooh, this one wants to come out, and this one is Two of Swords. But look at in this deck, it is already in the center. And now she wants to split it. So it's kind of like weird. The first thing that came to my mind was like splitting hairs. Why are you splitting hairs? What's going on? Libra. And then you have Three of Pentacles, very similar that in the field. So you're very goal-oriented, and it's, look at it, I'm already getting a feel for all the signs. So this is like Eight of Cups. It's kind of like coming and going. There is like some transition that will be happening. Oh, you're welcome, sweetie Barbie. You're my lovely, lovely person. let go of control issues. Yeah, Libras, you see, Libras is represented with, and that's my ascendant, I should probably know, with these two scales. And we always see, just this, see no colors, no prejudice, and blah, blah. We know that this in reality really doesn't work that way. So this is why Libras people are always measuring things, always trying to figure out what's going on. And they're never really in balance. Very rarely they're in balance. When they're in balance, like, they're changing the world, right? Remember John Lennon. But most of the time they're out of balance. Guess who else is Libra? Putin, right? So the problem, or both problem and advantage of Libra is trying to get in balance all the freaking time. And I can see it over here. You are trying to find ability to make things work, and you're very focused on something, but maybe you're overly focused on something. Maybe you're realizing, okay, maybe I have been overdoing it. I kind of like really find that intricate work on the ceiling constraining over here, right? It almost like feels like this kind of taking everything down. So she is trying to do almost impossible. I don't know if you can see, but she is blindfolded, trying to get not only in the target, but in the center of the target, split the knife that is already there. So what's going to happen? Is it going to bounce? Is it going to miss it? Is it going to hit the animal? You have to think in a 3D what's happening here, or why is she doing it. So it's kind of like shut in the dark, almost like it's some kind of decision. This is typically you. This is your card. It's kind of like, again, that understanding, like you're trying to get in balance, and here it is, you're finding how, right? So instead of doing that shut in the dark or splitting hairs as it came to my mind, here it is, somebody is teaching you how to do it. You're resolving a situation with asking out for a help, or for somebody to merge with you. You are like, it's almost like a joint resources sort of a thing over here, right? So whether or not you're going to get that, it's questionable, because it says let go of control issues and allow the situation to unfold naturally. I feel that somebody is not moving with the same speed that you wanted to move, right? This one wanted to come out. Ha ha ha, interestingly enough. Somebody's not moving, and you have two options. You can look at them and say, you're in my way and how dare you, and I'm not going to do that, and demonstratively walking away from them. Or they might walk away from you because they might find you really controlling in the situation. But this whole situation where you're going to feel a bit stuck. I'm not going to lie to you. You're going to feel a bit stuck this week. But that stuckness is done for a reason. Stuckness is done because you are supposed to this week go to the next level. You're supposed to break these chains. You're supposed to really feel that lightness. You're supposed to find the things that actually prevented you of pushing things forward. And some of those things lie inside of you. Other things to some extent lie in the other people. Maybe you're going to realize that when you ask for help, that this help is not freely given, or that is a burden, that you have the wrong choice of people around you, that people are not productive. You're going to maybe find that you sometimes just dwell on too many details, and that maybe turns people off. In any case, it's not that you're missing anything. You're actually going to accomplish anything that you want to accomplish, but you're going to realize that you can get there through a completely different path, that you can get there in a different way, right? This is my favorite card in the entire deck. This is the Star card, right? And this guy reminds me, I don't know, of somebody on a news station, but I really like how he's showing his palms and he's showing his feet. So these are the hidden chakra points that most people don't even know. In my tarot school, I usually initiate people on 12 chakras, not on 7. So the hands, right? And just think about it now with this virus. We are touching everything with hands, and that's how it's being transferred. And this is kind of like really, really important to do, right? And then he has, and the feet are the other two, which is that kind of like grounding thing that usually keep us to this planet and keeps us in this dimension. So let's talk about that a little bit, because when we are in a 3D, we have to behave like 3D, where money is important, where we have constraints, we have, each one of us has a different kind of ceiling, right? And or different cross to bear, as they call it. But this, he is breaking those chains. He is realizing that nothing is going to hold me. And maybe this is what it is. Maybe you felt that you built some kind of structure. So this could be kind of like read this way, that you have built a structure, and that you're trying and trying, and it's as you go forward, it's harder and harder and harder, and you have to jump higher and blah blah blah. And now you're realizing, wait a minute, I just had it wrong all along, and this really shouldn't be this hard, or these people shouldn't be around me. And you're kind of like figuring out a way to go and expand yourself. This is a really, really good combination. Both cards are this 8 vibration, and 8 is like that infinity, right? Line card. This is a star. This is being hopeful. This is being loving. And that's how I started it. You guys are never in freaking balance. Ta-da! You're going to be in balance. So this is going to be absolutely lovely. So, but you need to kind of like really look deep inside of yourself and see what you need to release, as that's going to be very important this particular week. So yay, good for you, Libras. So who do I go next? Let's go, I didn't do any water signs, so let's go with Scorpio. Any Scorpio over here, guys? Any Scorpio? Let me have a sip over here. So let's see, Scorpio. So Reading Yogi is saying my college closed for the semester back in March. The grade schools here in May are closed for the rest of the year by doing remote learning. That's awesome. You know what? This is exactly, we are reconfiguring ways how to do it remotely, and becoming probably more understanding and compassionate with people who had to do it in the rural areas all along because of the work. And if this doesn't give people that more consideration and empathy toward others, I honestly don't know what else will. And I really hope that this is going to be a big shift. In Canada, I think also, I think they're extending it 1 month at a time. And now it is extended for the end of the May, but I think it's not going to. Nobody's going to go back to school. They're already saying this is all going to last to some effect until 2022, where we will have a control of the virus. And also that the virus is never going to be controlled. Just like as I said in my little kind of like astrology from the last time. But we'll have to develop that herd immunity, which is getting a little bit of virus, right? A little bit, so you're kind of like developing a little bit of resistance. And you remember, guys, how sick I was in Christmas? I don't know if you remember. It was like freaking going from bronchitis to pneumonia. I don't know who was here. Like, don't you think I maybe had this freaking virus back then? It's kind of possible, right? Because I had all the symptoms that they are talking about it right now, and yet I was walking around and none of my friends got it. So I don't know, it probably virus mutated. It was not exactly the same. Let's all see it. So Scorpio, what do you have? You have 8 of Swords, you have Ace of Cups, and you have 9 of Wands. Why is the 8 of Swords here? Are you feeling stuck in some kind of situation? 8 of Swords is that card of your brain making kind of like playing games with you, right? Like where you start that little voice telling you you're not good enough, you kind of like need to deal with things. Yep, that would be that retreat. And even though it's kind of interesting, you are a sign that can really go deep. It can go very introverted. It can kind of like just sit quietly for a long period of time. When this is forced on you, it doesn't feel right? Like, I mean, I can relate to that. Let's say when you do fasting. Doing fasting is okay when you decide it. When somebody makes you, it feels completely different, and your state of mind is really different. So 8 of Swords also to me generally talks about a situation where somebody is not communicating, when somebody is not calling, when somebody is not doing what they do, and we are really judging their behavior. But in fact, they can't. In fact, let's say they don't have a news that they have or they want to give it to you, and they're holding back because of that. So for example, this would be in a situation let's say that you are working, you are dating somebody who's separated or married, and you, for example, don't want to participate in that situation, and you have left this person with the decision, look, you have to really realize what you want. It's not fair to anybody, and you need to clean the situation out. And so the person is working on it, and you feel like isolated, you're not hearing from the person, and that kind of like stuff really happens over here, right? So yeah, Mel, yeah, I really think lots of people got it early. This is why they spread it this much. And especially I like to shop in a little kind of Chinese store over here in Toronto, like I'm in, which is called Nations. It's basically whole world, but mostly is like Asian store. And I think lots of people are coming for their new year and kind of like dealing with that. So going back to your Scorpio, you need to pull in. It's very important for you in this period to kind of you have to come back to your power. This is all that is basically happening. This will be the next card after 8 to 9. So you're moving along the right path. You're realizing that maybe certain things you're envisioning cannot happen right away, but you're really realizing that you need to find your own strength in that solitude or whatever. You really feel a bit isolated, you feel a bit suppressed, but at the same time you're like the proverbial phoenix that needs to raise, that needs to do things. You're getting that, you're fully understanding that, and you're taking in that small space that you managed to create, that real safety, just few people, because this Ace of Cups is coming up, right? So it's almost like you have this energy of 9 in your reading, and 9s are usually when we turn to mankind, when there is like no more I want this, but it's like what we want this, and not we as a couple, even though for you it's going to mean as a couple as well, because Ace of Cups is here, but it's also going to mean we as a mankind in your case. There's going to be something that is going to be a call for action in your case, and that's why you have 9 of Wands over here. And 9 of Wands could mean literally Sagittarius. Look at that, isn't this freaking cute? This little kitty holding with a freaking paw. It's so adorable, right? And it's a dragon. It's coming to rescue. It's coming to kind of give this power. This is like one of those nights that is very vigorous, right? Something is coming in and out. So you might be dealing with somebody who is very unreliable. You might be dealing with somebody who is very exciting and very charismatic, but you cannot, look at this, look at how high they fly and what they deal with, right? So no wonder they're not calling you if you're dealing here and fighting dragons over here. So you need to kind of like take this in consideration over here. So it's going to be really interesting. That is going to ask for your 100%, like 1,000,000% focus into that core, and not in a head. You have to get out of your head, and you're restarting a new cycle. You are finishing something where the key of finishing the process or the karma cycle is to kind of like give the energy to everybody else. Holding selfishly onto anything is really not going to work. And that's why I feel that even if you pull in just simply kindness and resolving certain things, or maybe even releasing certain things, are going to push you forward. Oh boy, will they ever push you forward. So you will go from R&R to whole bunch of activities. And I know this sounds really weird during the pandemic, but I bet you're going to either find a hobby, or you're going to reconnect with your partner, or you're going to say, what the heck, life is so short, look at how things can change, you can die in 7 days. Literally going to be that phoenix coming out and kind of like really looking at things in a completely different way. So don't worry, like this temporarily kind of like feeling of constraint in the beginning of the week will fade away rather quickly. So that is all cool. Yeah, Kylie saying there are like different strains of corona, and I seen that. I was actually talking to my neighbor. I usually walk a dog with him, right? And then we stopped walking a dog. Well, he's a Virgo, so he's like now bunkered in his place because he just doesn't want to get it, right? And I was telling him, like, remember when I was coughing and you didn't mind walking with me when I was coughing and sniffling? And he said, I was like just like you last year for 2 freaking months, and maybe I have given it to you. And he says, and now like, at work, everybody's coughing, at Subway, everybody's working, so he's not even going to work. He's just working from home. So the next one, hey, let's do Aqua girls and boys. How about that? Aquarius, when the moon is in the 7th house, and Jupiter, and I don't know the rest of the words. Aquarius. So Aquarius did really well under Aries. It was a lots of things that really needed a boost and needed to kind of go forward. And with Taurus, it's going to be a little bit of kind of like what they call it square aspect in astrology. It could be a little bit challenging. It could be a little bit kind of like grounding. So Aquarius is going to look into monetary things during the transition over there. So let's see. Madison, will I find love anytime soon? Madison, that's a private reading, like Barbie said. So what I decided early on when I started with these lives, that it's just kind of like rude to do private readings, because then over here, I even thought maybe doing it at some point. I'll tell you why. Because then other people will be just sitting and waiting while I'm doing the reading for you, right? And it's none of their concern to even hear your stuff. And plus, their thoughts can affect basically the reading. So I think this is not the best. But Barbie, who is the chief moderator over here, she organizes twice. She orders me, hey, we need to do a pick a card. So you can actually really ask a question that I actually can answer to some point. So that's the only reason. So Aquarius, we have Page of Wands, activity, and look at that. And then we have Page of Cups, we have the Empress, and we have a Queen of Cups. Oh my freaking God, what is going on? Emotional revival. Emotional revival. So this is still something young. There is like still something brewing. There is like something percolating. It's not boiling yet. And it's not even going to boil. It's going to be kept at that simmer point, which is perfect. So it's not overdoing it. It's not underdoing it. I don't know why I'm picking it up that there is like some, because both of them are pregnant, right? Both of them are pregnant. And I don't know like if here my audience is really in the quote-unquote pregnant age. So it literally could mean pregnancy, guys, that somebody got pregnant and maybe they're going to get twins. I'm going to get 2 boys. That can literally mean that, this reading. Another part would be that some of you will get pets and or even adopt a child in this whole situation. I don't even know how this really works, if they're even working. Maybe you're going to just simply help a neighbor. It is just simply here a situation which is so freaking good. And it's very unusual for Aquarians. So let me just grab these 2 cards before I do all of this. Retreat. How is this retreat fitting in all of that? And what is this? Just breathe, but it was reversed. So why are these 2 cards almost like contrary to this? Because this card is like pulling in. And this card reversed is also pulling, I guess it is pulling in, like now when I think about it, because the cups are also that emotional component, which Aquarians usually don't do. The Empress has Venus, and Venus is now going retrograde. First of all, I feel that Aquarians will start looking in their physique, literally. They will start trying to not so much fix what's wrong. And I never actually advise going and fixing yourself during Venus retrograde. It always means you're going to pick the wrong hair color, wrong haircut, wrong dress. You're going to look frumpy. But it's a really good time to pinpoint, I wish I am lighter. I wish, my skincare is better, right? I wish, my nails are better. It's going to be really one of those beautifying weeks, but not so much immediately, as I said, but rather sort of like goals in mind. And boy, we are going to be very, very focused on that. And it's going to be something that maybe has been with us for a while, that maybe is bothering us for a while, and that's why the pregnancy is here. Maybe this has been an idea that has to come to the surface, it has to happen. So this is kind of like that 9-month waiting period of some sort that was generating and generating, and somehow maybe we were talking about something, I wanna, and then we didn't do it, and we are a fixed sign. So when we talk about something and we don't do it, we actually drive ourselves nuts, and as much as everybody else. That kind of like makes sense. So now I think it's more or less kind of like this self-contained, as we are going through a situation where everybody is self-contained, and it's giving us opportunity to actually address it, and not address it with being for example, for me, I think this really relates to me. I can tell you that, losing weight, it's like something that I always talked about. I tried. I failed. And like now it's just like, look, it just, this is a perfect timing. Just kind of do it, to focus it. It's a little bit less tension going outside, less thing, and so now you can focus. So that's kind of like something, whatever this burden is for you, I feel is going to put in motion. It's going to start moving forward, and you're going to feel really good about that, very emotionally and kind of like in sync. So there is also this Queen of Cups over here, which could be a person, this could be all people, this could be your family that is there with you, for you, that there's like some comfort zone that is really, really happening over here. And there's like overwhelming feel of goodness that I see here, and that is going to continue to happen. The Empress is going to really come in effect around the 22nd, and the whole week you might feel it's like kind of like tarmac, that you're on a tarmac and you're ramping up and I'm kind of like seeing this, and then this is the freaking lift off. You're realizing that there is something you need to do, that only you can do it, and you and nobody else, and therefore you're not eliciting support from the others. You're simply kind of like doing things that you know are the best for you. It's almost like that we are guided from above. But this came really through, looks like lots of work and lots of preparation and lots of talking. But this talking probably sent that message to the universe, and universe is now responding. So hey, usually Aquarians get sucky readings, and I'm so glad to see that this is really, 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 really good. So you see Barbie saying doors. So this is a time now, for those of you who are not regulars, where I actually put this picture over here so you can see what I'm doing. I take another deck, and you guys think yourself of question that you want to answer, and it has to be really easy question, because this is just really general reading. As you know, it's exchange of the energy, so it should be answered with yes or no. And I do have to tell you, this is the least accurate reading from all readings. That's why I always suggest, if you get a reading with me, get a long one, so we can check and double check and triple check, but it can go somewhere. So let's go. I will pick 3 cards, or 3 groups. Hello everybody. Let's see, door number 1. Nothing jumped yet. Oh, something did. Door number 2. Yeah, new project, Kylie. Door number 2. I see number 1, but I didn't see door number 2. And door number 3. Here we go. I have 2 cards jumping for door number 3. Just giving you hint. Okay, so let me just remove this guys over here, and let's go with this. So who who wanted to number one. And actually, just to tell you before I start, you can even ask more questions than one. It's kind of like not advisable for question one to take a group number one and number two and number three, right? Because that's not really the best way to go. But if you, for example, ask for somebody else, you can ask, different group, and that should be okay, right? So let's see. The group number one. Rain, which group did you bring? So it's a Two of Cups, but it's kind of weird. But when this card fell out, it fell out like this. It could be up and could be down. So if you pick this one, for some of you will happen, for some of you won't happen. So you have to keep that in mind. So this is clearly about a partnership. This is clearly about commitment. This is clearly about some energy. I also like, and I'm explaining this in my school, and I'm going to give you a little bit of tarot. He is actually stretching his hand toward her over here, which somebody is making an incentive over kind of like pushing it through. So she is a pure emotion. Look at this waterfall of blue on her, where he's bringing motion. So this is kind of like where this caduceus sign is really showing up and generating this angelic kind of like thing over here. So be careful, guys, of signing anything. Be very careful of partnerships, but at the same time, be very hopeful, because it can be very, very positive and really go in your direction. So the group number two, the devil. Be very careful of what you are picking and choosing, especially if this involves people. The devil is kind of the sign, the card that sends us a sign is saying, are you sure? Are you doing this for the right reasons? What is that you are missing here that is not in your highest, vibration, in your highest quality, right? Devil, that's why rules with lust and with codependency, brings narcissists our way, makes us do crap that we don't want to do. We know it's not good, but we do it anyway, kind of a thing. But it came reversed. So this is a good news. This can talk about us realizing what we need to do to make certain things workable and healthy workable. That this is the card that says, let's not cut corners anymore. Let's do the real work and let's make this happening. So this, yes, I would say it's a yes, but I would say it will take reshifting. It will take reworking things, and it will take kind of like really your focus and long-term focus, going step by step in that direction. So it's kind of like almost like a building proper foundations. And then the group number three was two cards. You have Seven of Wands and a Page of Pentacles. So Seven of Wands comes after Six of Wands, but Six of Wands, it shows the guy on a horse, a winner. He was crowned. He is now the king. He's now number one, numero uno. And guess what happens when you're number one? Even though people rallied behind you to make you number one, now they're resentful. Now they're finding the flaws with you. Now they're finding that you are like fallible, that you're not that infallible idol that they thought you are. You're just a person, and you're doing the best you can. But every single thing that you do is now magnified, right? So in seven, you have to fight all of these people. You have to tell them, no, I am here on the top for a reason. And sometimes this becomes defensive. And this defensive can be negative, it can be positive, right? But you're still in a position of strength. You're still having a position where all of these people together, they still are weaker than you are. They're still kind of like need to kind of reconfigure. You need to kind of like really, and I really like it. In some other cards, this dude is made very angry. In this card, he's like a little surprised. He is kind of holding this over his heart chakra. And he's saying, okay, don't take it personally. Do not take it personally, right? Remember these 4 agreements kind of doing this way? And then is a Page of Pentacles. I don't know who, Raindrops here ask for a question. So the answer is yes. So you need to kind of figure out, maybe somebody, sorry, what was your question? Should I purchase some land I found? Kind of like, this is clearly a good card for moving forward, but it's saying it's going to be very slow. This is saying do your research, kind of figure out what are the obstacles, because I think, especially with that question, you might not have obstacles in buying the land, but it might be something connected to it. So whether or not there's like something that's happening in the vicinity that might affect you, or it could be some taxation, it could be something. So this is just saying research this and make sure that these tasks are basically handled, because they might come back to lurk at you, and then rebuilding has to happen, right? Because the Page of Pentacles is moving forward, and this is about being studious and kind of like knowing your stuff before you move forward. So that's all good, right? So yay, 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 yay. So that's, thank Barbie for calling the shots for this. I don't know if Madison was still there or she just left us. Hopefully she didn't. Don't you guys think it would be rude to kind of like just do the reading and just left you all kind of waiting and like not knowing what to do? So I just don't. Whenever I went on the readings website like that, I just felt it's weird and people grasp a pick my, and I just don't like that. So the next one, let's do Gemini. Gemini, it's going to be you next. I was cleaning this deck while this was all happening, so let's do this. Gemini, 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 Gemini. And there you are, sweetie. Good to see you. Gemini, Gemini, Gemini. You're welcome, raindrops. I love you too, guys. I'm feeling such positive energy from you people today. I don't know what it is. I'm also feeling that everyone on this live is kind of like landing on their feet. And I don't know if this is the best expression. I'm kind of like really picking up emotion. It is really hard to describe. It's almost like when you try a new cake and you're trying to describe somebody a flavor, where I am definitely picking up struggling. I'm picking up hardship, but in a sense where hardship is there, you know it's hard, but you also know that you can do it. There's like this huge level of positivity. There's like no victimhood at all, and it's actually really, really lovely energy that I'm really picking up over here. So, Gemini, 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 Gemini. Ooh, Death and Four of Swords. What the heck? What the heck is going on here? Okay, let's grab this one too. And then Ace of Cups. Okay, let me grab the other two cards. So you have Death, Four of Swords, Ace of Cups. Something is blocked for you. Or maybe this is simply, but Death is not a bad card when it's upright. But there is like something that is really exhausting for you, Gemini. Change your focus and rest and consider. Well, this is what we have it here as well. Honeymoon. Interestingly enough, so clearly, well, now this can mean two things. I can either read it together, or you know, Geminis are these two faces. It could be that they're like two different sets of circumstances that will actually play out for you, Geminis. It could be that one group will be going through some kind of transitional period. That is a very strong transition, because look at this. There are these two doors. One is closed, one is open. And that's exactly what the Death card really represents. Something must stop, and something else must go on. So this can talk about stopping a relationship. And usually when such relationships stop, it is that something is just not in your best interest. Something is just too costly. In your time, in your energy, emotional health, physical health, you freaking name it, right? And it's telling you that you need to change your focus. You need to kind of like look through. I really feel that you guys have been trying to really work things out on something. This doesn't have to be a relationship. It could be simply a way of life. It could be a work that you were doing, like almost like it looks like it's somebody pushed the reset button. And when we re-emerge, we are going to re-emerge differently. At least you're saying, not only will I re-emerge differently, it is a must that I do that. And that's why this is really reappearing over here for you. This is also for you guys going to be a longer process. Even though this is a weekly reading, For you, there's going to be something that is going to be lasting for months. And it almost looks like you are right now reaching these final stages before the renewal happens. And there's like something that is going to take a lot of you, and that's why both of these cards are really saying you really need to spend lots of time recharging your batteries. You're an air sign, so just think about it, that you're like high power, you're like the latest gadget, but this latest gadget that they didn't really figure out the battery, that earthy thing. So you have to stop from time to time to recharge your batteries to actually continue going forward. If you ever read like these old texts, I mean, Hall of Amanti, and like, I mean, like Hall of, like, I mean, a life, then you realize they have been going to that state, that space, a thought apparently went there on a few occasions for 50 years to recharge his batteries, because that's kind of like the place where it needs to happen for us to really figure out who we are, what we really need, where we really want to go. Because this Four of Swords is really telling me that you'll be very grateful about something. This is something maybe you're initiating. There's like something that you're saying, well, I didn't really want to do it, because I see here you were trying to work on it. I mean, change your focus, and you were trying to not to be infected or affected with that, but it kept coming back at you. It kept nagging at you, right? So you have realized that you kind of like really need to move forward. There's like something happening. For example, I wanted to order this Amazon Fire Stick. I have one, but I wanted to order the better one, 4K. And bizarrely enough, each and every time, either it doesn't show up, either it's not delivered. Yesterday I went on the website again to try, and the website was loading and said, hello, which part I'm not getting, this is not meant to be, I'm not supposed to do it. So I just give up and kind of get this. So this all is really needed for you to get this understanding of a new direction, which needs to take place. Or some of you will be already ready to go in this direction if you have already gone through this process, because this is lovely. And this could be simply that there is like something new. You guys could be lucky ones in all this kind of like virus war. I don't like to call it war, but in this whole thing that we are going through, that you're finding your happiness, right? I don't necessarily love honeymoon card, because it tells me that something appears certain way that is only going to get tainted later, because this really talks about that initial stage in a relationship where we see only the best. But guess what? You know what? Why not to enjoy it? Why not to have those things? You're an air sign. You know, like, I mean, that nobody's perfect. You know that you will need to ground yourself later, that you're going to find in the yes, they do fart, and the yes, and they kind of like smell at times as well. So, but why not to give yourself that, like, I mean, piece of heaven? And that's kind of like what I see here. So whether or not you're going to be able to just start here, because I see that as a possibility, or you'll need to go through some process that is going to finalize this week in order for this process to start, it's going to really depend in which group you belong. So hopefully this was helpful, my dear Gemini, because there's transition happening, and this transition is not going to really let you not decide to stand by, not to do it. So that's awesome. So let's see. Yes, acceptance of the circumstances. That's kind of like what I'm feeling. It's just because I am kind of similar. I'm not feeling depressed anymore as I was 4 weeks ago. I'm actually feeling hopeful. I'm feeling yeah, I'm making very little money. My business is tanking, so please do order reading if you can. But at the same time, I'm feeling so freaking positive about everything, that this is a new world, that there are like some better things happening. So this is all cool. So the next one, let's make our, and who can guess? Wow. And that was not the best sound, but that's my interpretation of Leo. Leo. Eldest Gem Rising. And Gem Moon is pushing through. So yeah, it's Gemini was really interesting, that kind of like is going to go some circumstantial things. So we have 7 of Wands, Leo. Then we have the High Priestess. Who wants a piece of you, Leo? Who wants this? This is kind of like really interesting. This is the same. And then we have Queen of Pentacles. Queen of Pentacles is commitment. Queen of Pentacles is somebody possibly married, or who kind of like gives off this marriage things, but it's also somebody who is very pragmatic and very pragmatic, practical, but somebody who can get things done out of nothing. Queen of Pentacles is somebody who finds creative solutions on a freaking dime and make them look like, oh, well, this is what I wanted all my life, kind of a thing, right? She could be a trendsetter, kind of a thing, right? So we'll see what is this all about. Woohoo, control. It's interesting that this is called control in this deck, because this is your card. This is that I don't know, like, why didn't they even bother putting a Leo over here? So this is the Strength card over here, guys. So it's really showing up. This is a very powerful reading. I don't even know where to start. This is all about you. This whole week is going to be about finding your ground. You are going to be very intuitive. You're going to have the people probably nipping at you, and I mean, I don't know which sign I was explaining. This is simply prestige and fight for the place that you have in the world, and people want to kind of like knock you down and kind of like minimize you. The understanding is that they do that because they don't trust themselves, because they want perfection. They don't understand, you know, how process takes time. It's something that you do understand, and you're not even explaining. You're simply controlling the situation very well. It's really interesting that this is called control, right? And you're understanding that you need to be a leader in the situation. Some of you are going to take your tarot cards. This is your High Priestess, or you're going to really take this reading to your heart, and you are going to really understand. Look at these runes and bull. I have a bull. And the cards over here. This is that highly intuitive thing, and this is also that gateway, the pathway, where you are understanding which criticism is well intentioned, and which one it isn't. Because sometimes people disguise who they are with presenting their needs in a question that seemingly on the surface appears to be just fine. But because of your intuition, you're going to be realizing, oh, this is a question, but this is a layer. And this layer is actually not responding to the question. And you are feeling that this is coming at you. You're actually totally feeling, and you are so much ahead of them. You're so much ahead. And that's why you're going to feel really comfortable, right? Because you're going to be able to preempt things, and this might even be on a psychic level. This might be even that you will send the psychic signals, don't you freaking dare, or I'm going to rip you apart, right? I know how to act in a tame way, because in the regular card, the strength, in the regular deck, the strength is shown with a woman taming the lion, and you know, this whole force is kind of like listening to her sheer strength of the will. And that's what I see it here. You're going to possibly do some domesticated things this week. You might be, I don't know, weirdly enough, even though the fruit is showing in the card, but I don't know, you might have a cravings for certain fruits this week. This is showing peaches, this is showing grapes, and I don't know what the heck is. Are those cranberries, I would say, and do blueberries grow in bushes? I don't know. Yeah, they do grow in small bushes, right? So it is going to be also time to talk to your family, possibly to your mother, that can actually go be a matriarch. So this is either you, or it could be a female around you that, or somebody who is having a really nurturing quality with somebody who you find a really, really good fit. But you also have this card. This could be the one. You already met the romantic partner you seek. And I'm honestly not sure how this interacts with this. So because it's one way if you're a man, one way if you're a woman. So if you're a man, then I feel that you have already recognized the woman who you feel you're very comfortable with, because Queen of Pentacles, she is beautiful, but you don't feel intimidated with this person's beauty, right? Sometimes men feel intimidated with beautiful women, and that's why there's expression, she's out of my league. But there is somebody beautiful who might be just simply like her inner beauty is like so strong that you really don't even care how the person looks like. It's all of a sudden somebody's becoming so beautiful for you, right? And you are switching. You know, like Clueless movie, how she at some point kind of got the realization that somebody who annoyed her actually was somebody she was interested in. So this is that quantitative switch over here that we are seeing, that certain things actually may be going in a different direction. And that is really empowering you, right? Really empowering you. If you are a female, then most likely you had somebody with whom you have flirted already. I don't necessarily feel that it's going to be a contact, but you might feel a contact. You might be receiving some messages over here. Clearly with High Priestess, she's kind of like usually silent. That's what I'm saying. I'm not thinking that. But I feel that it could be some message that you get, which could be really psychic message, right? And hence this card is showing through, where you are understanding maybe you have been guarding yourself against this person previously, and now you're reaching realization that maybe certain things would actually not be that bad. You're reshifting and you're seeing how things actually can work out, how you can tame this beast. Maybe you've literally thought about a person as a beast before, and now you're saying, I think I would be able to handle it. Or something like this might happen. In any case, you guys are going to feel very grounded. You're going to feel comfortable. You're going to feel that you don't have to defend yourself, and that you have actually re-established your place as kind of like the person who has been crowned the king, and you are able to handle kind of like your pride or whatever it is. So it's a really good feeling that you are like keeping your title of a champion. So that's a really good thing to do. So that's cool. So Rainbows is Capricorn Sun, and Moon, and Aries Rising. It's better when you have 3 of those, because when you have similar kind of element, it always messes you up, and I can talk to you about that. So let's go Sagittarius next. I didn't see Sally in a while. Sally moved, and I think she was looking forward to her Florida thing, but then she just moved at a time when they have all this epicenter, right? So let's start. Sagittarius. 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 Come on, come on, come on, come on. Sagittarius. I don't know, is anybody else going through a phase that you feel, oh my gosh, it feels like Mercury retrograde? I am trying to change my servers, my hosting, because continuously I'm getting spammed and issues with my current host, and I am just not capable of doing that. Like, it's just like one failure after another trying to find a new host. And like my car, like light bulb went off. It's just really freaking weird. I just kind of feel this way. Sagittarius, you have the devil. The devil. Sally's okay. She's okay, but just, you know, it was horrible timing going there. Then it's like 9 of Swords. Of course. Are you guys going to be doing some kind of hanky-panky? And 5 of Wands over here. Because the devil card is, look at that. Hey dude, if you leave this girl, I'm going to give you all the money. And to her, isn't this like such a kind of like misogyny put down? Like, I mean, she's going to go for ice cream and he's going to go for a bag of money. Come on, like, I mean, why don't we just do the other way and see how do you like it, kind of that way. She is clearly not going for it. She clearly rejected that temptation. But you can see that she's actually saddened that he is believing and listening to that, and that's why the dude is embracing him. Of course, because he got a freaking good offer. Who knows, right? So it's kind of really interesting because that's kind of like this feeling that you feel lured with something or somebody, which somehow it might really explode in your face, or it could be the person who is in your life. This is also a sign of Capricorn. At times it is really showing that is causing you some, I guess, sleepless nights, issues. Look at that. She is revisiting all of her diaries, all of her stuff. Interestingly enough, like all the swords are pointed outside, and outside the sun is setting and everything is nice, but she is kind of like pulled into her own world. I call this card wash machine because it's simply kind of like you are like going in circles, on and on and on and on. It's a dog with a bone situation. You're not letting it go, and you should let it go, and something here is going to happen. You need to be very, very careful this week, because somebody's going to lure you into something. You might feel, and see, this is the problem with Sagittarius. You are like very honest and transparent sign, but because of that, you become a prey of con artists, right? Because you believe them, or you also believe your luck. You're also lucky sign that the luck is going to, yeah, look at that, codependency, to double it down. Because with luck that is given to your sign, you're able to accomplish so much more, and you trust yourself, things are going to resolve. But in this case, somebody is getting you into some doo-doo situation which you really trusted, that is going to explode in your freaking face. So be very careful about that, right? Oh my gosh, this is good. This is good. So the antidote is coming, but look at that. This could simply talk about codependency, because to me, the Devil card is about addictions. It's about situations where we don't react properly, whether or not we know, because this is upright. It's a little bit more tricky when it's upright, because you're not fully aware of that, and you just really walk in a doo-doo, and you really don't know how to get yourself out, right? So this also can talk about cheating. This also can talk about the three-party situation. This also can talk about the ex-partner coming through, especially if children are involved, and having some musical wishes, as I call it, right? And you're like thinking, like, where the hell, did you come up with that? Are you insane? Like, I mean, it's kind of like dealing with certain level of stupidity, if you wish, right? But codependency also can mean being stuck in a situation, which could be a situation of your own mind, where we keep repeating patterns, and we keep repeating patterns, always thinking they're going to react differently, and we don't realize that we are repeating a pattern until some time in the process, because each new partner kind of appears to be different and elegant and charismatic in the beginning, but ultimately they kind of like land on the same problem, right? And maybe this is like the observation of things that they really need to kind of like be worked on. Maybe there's like some situation you're going through that is really bogging you down. I also feel that you're like really missing somebody over here, that there's like something going on in here, and you are resolving it the only way you guys know how to resolve it. You're resolving it with transparency. This is the Sun card, shine, right? It is reversed, so it's not as bright as it could be, but there is light coming through. See, this is the antidote to the Devil card. When you kind of like tell the truth will set you free, kind of a thing, right? And this means kind of like gaining a little victory. It's not necessarily much of a victory, because all the switches are now debating what to do. As they're debating, everything kind of falls apart. But nonetheless, this card really talks about kind of like balancing, and possibly setting boundaries, and possibly kind of like insisting on a certain things, right, of your own kind. Just be careful with this, not to overdo that, not to push it too much, right, because this is going to be very, very important. There's also the element over here that I see of the universal justice that is going to be at play in this particular week. So you have to be very cautious. So you're almost like universe is tempting you to see how you would react if you have learned certain lessons, because codependency is really hard to shake off, and it keeps coming in waves to test you. It's almost like a rubber band. You kind of like at some point is like not fully stretched, so you don't feel effects of it, but then you feel it, that it comes back, and eventually you will realize the solution is not kind of like doing that motion, but it's kind of like really cutting the cord. And sort of like there is like some need of speaking your truth or telling the truth, either you or somebody else in the situation. It's really, really important, and it's going to be some kind of opening in that respect, right? So if this is you, then you want to do it on your terms. If this is somebody else, they want to do it on their terms. So that could be a little bit unsatisfactory, but nonetheless, the beginning is there, and that is basically what is truly, truly important over here. Hello, Aries. Hello, happy birthday or happy belated birthday. That's kind of like awesome over here. So, that was Sagis. Leo was at 1 hour and 8 minutes, if you missed it. So we have Virgo, we have Capricorn, we have Pisces left. So since we have 2 Earth, let's do 1. Let's do Capricorn. Capricorn. Oh my gosh, Barbie's going to hate me with my chicken scratch over here. Okay. Capricorn. Kelsey is a Saggy, and wish I can find a hanky-panky. I think this week, see, that's the devil card. And you know what? You just stated that to the universe. You're going to find something this week, my dear. You will see. So Capricorn, you have 10 of Swords, and then you have a 6 of Swords. Why are you so much in your thoughts, Capricorn? What's going on here? And then you have Knight of Swords. Look at this. You're all in freaking... It's weird because Capricorn and Aquarius are both ruled with Saturn. And Saturn has completely different effects. And it's now migrated from Capricorn to Aquarius. And then it's going to retrograde back to Capricorn. It's going to go back to Aquarius. This whole year is going to be back and forth. That's why I told you this virus will be tamed. And it's going to revive. Tame and revive is going to be a few motions until it settles in next year. And middle of next year, that is, right? So I can see that here, 10 of Swords in this card. Check it out. He's not dead, which he is in the other decks. And we also see the freaking villain is still here. But this dude here, he is going to grab his broom. He is going to find him. He's going to catch him. And he's going to get him. This is kind of like clearly the intention over here, right? And I think you might have a little bit of a tower moment in this particular thing, because this is 6 of Swords. It's kind of like getting away from people who are troublesome and getting away from issues. I don't know, like, did you guys spend the last 6 months really fall, not necessarily even 6 months. We are talking November. Well, yeah, I guess November, December. It's the time when something had been happening that you felt something bogged you down. You felt people were not collaborative, or you felt that, oh my gosh, no matter what I do, it's just like the doors are slammed in my face. Maybe there was even a rejection from somebody. Maybe you have already felt that tower moment and something hasn't been built properly. Something hasn't been built the way it should be built, right? That's really interesting over here, because there is like now a motion of you saying, okay, I think I spent way too much time on this. I can't waste my time anymore. You're like really coming up with a plan. Knight of Swords is a planner. He doesn't necessarily have the entire plan, but when you go to Knight of Swords and you ask for help, he say, look, I don't know what's going to be 10 kilometers down the road, but you need to start this trip right now if you want to be there on time, if you want the resolution of this problem. So go ahead and start it. When you get to this point, which I cannot explain you beyond this point, you will be able to find somebody there who will explain it to you. So he's telling you just kind of like go for it, kind of a thing. Express your love. I don't know, maybe you are kind of like in fascination with someone, because swords are words. Maybe certain things didn't happen. Maybe you have been in a relationship that hasn't been built properly, and now it is a time to kind of reconfigure things. Let's see also what happens over here. Happy birthday, Dory. And then we have here, change your focus, and that's exactly what you're doing. You are changing your focus, guys, right? Certain things that really bothered you, and people that bothered you, or something that you felt like a barrier. And sometimes you guys, oh my gosh, from all the signs, you are such a high achiever, and sometimes you, I don't know why I'm seeing this freaking plexiglass, this customer service and a cashier with a freaking plexiglass. And that's why I'm feeling this freaking barriers. You, I think, invent your own barriers. There's certain things you can't do. But this is telling you that, look, express your love. Go ahead and make the romantic gesture. Maybe something that you feel it was dead, kind of like put a fork in me. I'm kind of like done. I'm over. Maybe you moved on from something. It's now actually asking for a second look. It says change your focus. Maybe something that you looked toward was not the same. It's telling you, look, you don't really need to know how that story ends. You just need to start the beginning and be enthusiastic about the beginning and act swiftly. That's kind of like very, very important. So I think, guys, there is like some, let's say, revival of some ideas that you had in the past. And it's not going to be happening with the same pathway that you regularly have such matters. So whether this is a relationship, which this could be also somebody just showing up in your life, and that somebody is most likely an air sign over here, but it's going to also ask you to kind of engage, and that's going to be very, very important. So very interesting, Capricorn. You're kind of like really clearing some air over here, which is really, really important. I need to go to the store today, and it's Saturday. I don't think it's a really good idea. So maybe I should just make do with whatever I have in my freezer. So let's go with Pisces. What do we have for Pisces over here? Pisces. Do I have any coffee left? Yes, I do. Another sip. Man, I love starting my CATURDAY and cat weekend with you. It's so freaking awesome. Hello, Angelfish. Good to see you. Really, Angelfish? Thank you so much. Oh my gosh, she is amazing. You have no idea how much I work with light codes. I have this quantum healing manual, and last week I was really working with that. So if you guys want these quantum healing codes, they're free. I don't know how many pages this is. It's very simple. You just kind of like find which code you need. Let's say it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I don't want to do it. And then you can just kind of like do them in the air toward the part of you that you needed, and you just wait for that to really work the magic. So I was really doing a lot, not only for me, but for the global healing. And it's kind of like really interesting that you picked up on it. So that's also very interesting. So Pisces, 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 Pisces. Pisces, I'm not missing you. I'm not missing you. You have Temperance, and you have 8 of Swords, and you have a 7 of Cups. Okay, let's pick the other 2 cards, because this could be a little bit all over the place. But then again, Pisces is like a Gemini. You see the 2, and they're swimming in different directions. And you know how this can actually work out. You want to do one thing, and then you get sidetracked. Somebody's crying. They need your help. You help them, and it's, oh my God, like a disaster is happening because I am not doing this right things. So religious factors and simply love, but it's freaking reverse. That's the proverbial 6 of Cups. So look at this, 8, 7, 6. So religious factors to me is a marriage card. Marriage card, but it's one of those marriages where the roles are strictly divided, where there are like strict rules. It will be like a king of a Hierophant in a tarot deck. It says your love life is influenced by religious upbringing and spiritual path. But this is also a good thing. It's kind of like a tried and true card. You know it works, and it didn't only work for you. This is a very strong card, and that's why it's religious factors and not some kind of like a family karma and whatnot. It is something that has passed the test of time, and with passing the test of time, you are not trying new things. You just wanted certain way that has worked for such a long time. Temperance card here is really interesting. She's doing this tree pose. She's balancing, but I don't know if you can see it. One of her eyes is open, one of her eyes is closed. And so she's kind of like balancing things entirely, right? So if you want, this is a ground. This is where she's putting the root. And this one is basically the active leg where she has this eye open. And I don't know why they cut her off over here instead of showing us her entire hat over here. I'm sorry, this is my OCD obviously at play, as you can tell, right? So that's really telling me that there is like some balance that is going to be needed in the situation, and possibly even patience. I also feel that you're dealing with a situation, because we're going from 14 guys to 15, right? You're dealing also with a situation where a third party could be involved. You might be dealing with a situation where there are like conflict about kids, especially if you are in one of those, what they call it, merged families kind of a things, where you feel, hey, my hands are tied. I freaking don't know how to get out of the situation, right? And this also could mean, and I'm really sorry to say that some of you are in a marriage, in a situation or a household where you feel stuck. Or you, as I said previously, this card also tells me somebody is not communicating, somebody is not contacting, but the realization here needs to happen. They're not doing that because their karma is elsewhere. They can't. They're dealing with some other matters that are karmically more important. So it cannot be me, because they are realizing that, and you are taking certain things personally. The good news is the Temperance card is the card that really talks about, hey, oil and water can merge. We know it can't, right? But it's kind of like showing that alchemy and altruism, everything that is really moving forward, right? So but 8 and 7 create 15. So we are kind of like entering the devil attitude, which is like after 14, it does make sense. There is like a new challenge after trying to rebalance and trying to be patient. There's like something happening, something coming through, right? 7 of Cups is about I want, and I want. And you're realizing that maybe you're stuck in that dreamland. This is clearly you, Pisces. It's kind of like the dreams and aspirations and things that you really want to happen. But somehow, they all somehow fall through, because instead of realizing these are all options that they're giving to me, you're instead feeling a lack. Oh, I can pick only one. But why? Why did you make this agreement that you pick only one, right? Because the person is not advising you. So there is like this essence of lack, which comes with the Devil card, which is this essence of I am missing something. You need to realize your own power, right? Because this is clearly you're going back in the past where certain things did work, and how did it work? You may be reminiscing about that. You are daydreaming about how you wish things that they should be, and maybe you're simply doing that because this could mean you're stuck inside, shelter in place kind of orders, and this is really affecting you, right? But this is also telling you, you know, staying in your dreamland and dream world is okay, but you need to have one eye open, because things are happening, things are coming your way, and they're asking for your activity, they're asking for your involvement in a situation, right? It could be also a family thing, as I said. It could be exes coming up from the woodwork with their own needs, etc. It could be some manipulation through the kids as well, that sort of thing. So just guys, so you know, this is only a freaking week, and don't be tempted with the crap, and don't explode, and just realize that if something is not happening with the time and speed that you want, that might be a reason for it, and that reason is yet to be revealed, and we don't know why it's there, right? So let's see that. All right, so let's see What is the next? The next and last is our Virgo. So Virgo, let's see what you bring to us, because through your sign and through Scorpio, I also see the development of this pandemic as well, right? But this is more or less for reading for humans, not for a virus. So let's go Virgo humans first. Virgo, 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 Virgo. I'm glad to hear it, angelfish. Virgo, 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 Virgo. What's going on for Virgo this week? Oh my gosh, you have Queen of Wands. This one like to come out. You have the Tower. Well, somebody had to get it right there. So, but what, something doing something, honestly, I don't know. Maybe you're going to simply get a ticket. Maybe you're out and active, you are manning your health, and there is somebody kind of cutting your wind over here. Everywhere I see wind. Be careful of wind. It's really weird. And air travel, I would tell you, do not go and travel via air. And I know this is really difficult to cancel if you have already planned, because Queen of Wands is all about action. Queen of Wands is, and check her out, she has this beautiful bouquet of flowers. There is a kitty here adding up to it or just sharing it, and there is like this big dragon that basically carrying her through. And I don't know if you're noticing, she also has beautiful shoes over here, but she's not smiling. She is a little bit concerned to me, kind of a thing. She almost like is prepared for the ball. She wants to go on a ball, but there is like certain apprehension over there, and there's like a little hummingbird over here, the messaging coming through. So it almost looks like you kind of like created a liftoff of some kind of situation that has been premature, and then hence ended up in a tower. Something hasn't been built properly. Either, you know, you forgot something, or your beautiful dress got caught in a door, got tripped, or something happened, I mean, metaphorically, right, in your life. Engagement. And let's grab here as well. And rest and reconsider reversed. Because in these two cards, I'm seeing, guys, there's like something that needs to be resolved. Karma kind of like had certain agenda, project management for you, that in this particular week that there's something else that will be happening. And maybe this whole freaking pandemic got in the way. Maybe this is simply talking about the frustration. And the frustration, I think, is exhibited in the wrong way. And there is like this tower that happens, and tower always happens when things are not done properly, when things are done in a way that they look good on the outside, but they don't have the firm foundation. So with towers, that the devastation and deconstruction, but we need to realize that tower is not necessarily a bad thing. It makes us readjust, makes us look at things in a different way, makes us kind of like become the ultimate survivor, right? You might feel a little bit like a victim this particular week instead, right? And this is exactly what is asking you not to do. So if you are listening to this reading and you remember it when you kind of go in some kind of like funk this particular week, remember that was the plan for you. This plan may have been postponed and put on a hold. And as you can see in my old deck of the angel cards, and I don't know how much is now, $300, because it's not printed anymore. I scratched at your love life. It's your life, I said, is ascending to a higher level of commitment. You need to understand that this is what it is. This is where I want to be. And there is like some kind of constraint that you feel, but you are not realizing that you are in that constraint for a reason. Something is not evolving for a reason, and that reason is to be protective of you. So don't feel that you need to cry over things that actually didn't work out. This like tower, that's something that fell down, because there is like some celebration around the corner. You will literally need to turn around and kind of like see which kind of other things you can look into that. You will need to pull yourself in a little bit, right? So I think it's going to be a little bit of OCD and obsessing this particular week that you're going to have, and it's going to be really tricky for you to go through it. But please remember that this week that something has been put on a back burner. It hasn't been forgotten, and it's not going to go away. if you try to push things forward, then you will have to push things forward only if they are in everybody's highest interest. Anything short of that is going to start collapsing, and then you'll have to start fixing it, which is a good thing. Then you fix them and they're working properly. So Barbie said, let's do one more time the doors. So we are going to do the doors. So Virgo, let me know what you think about the reading, and let's check these doors. So I'm going to close this again, the same process, guys. You kind of like think of a question or so. I'm going to shuffle a different deck and see where this takes us. Okay, let me see. I need to put a timestamp for our Barbie. So it is 1, 4. All right, so door number 1. Door number 1. Holy moly, lots of cards for door number 1. You're getting a freaking mini reading if you pick this one. Door number 2. 2 cards. Door number 3. There's a card over here. Okay, let's remove this card. Da-da-da-da. Where is it? Here. Okay, guys, if you pick a door number 1, so let's see what are these cards telling me. Ace of Cups reversed, and Justice, and 6 of Pentacles. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Check it out. We have only 2 cards in a deck. Look at how many more cards I have here. Look at that. And there are only 2 cards in this entire deck. They have the scale, and you got both of them. So there is like something emotionally off. There's like something that you really, 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 really want. I don't think you're going to get it. And you're not going to get it because there is like some equalization that will be happening this particular week. I think there's going to be some form of jealousy or ambiguity this particular week, where things are not going to be really transparent. You will not be able to find the answer of some sort. This is a karma card. Whenever justice shows up, right, she is balancing certain things. She is not giving you what you want. She's giving you what you need. So the solution is going to come not in a way you want it, right? Because look at it, she's balancing things, and this dude with this particular scale here, he's saying, no, I'm not giving you everything I have. I'm measuring how much you need to give. And why? Because you are supposed to be the leader in the situation. Right now, I first need to make you stronger. And when you become stronger, when you get out of this foggy situation, whatever it is in your mind, maybe you have these foggy thoughts, you need to clarify certain things, then we are going to just do it one day at a time. So guys, even though this is a no, at the same time it's still telling you keep going forward and just focus one day at a time, not at the final result, but sort of like, what can I do today to put things forward and put the words, speak wise words and positive words that are in anybody's interest. It cannot be just selfishly I want. And that's kind of like the solution over here. Thank you, Agnieszka. That's very nice to hear from you. So the door number 2, I also had 2 cards, and we have the Sun reversed and we have the High Priestess. Holy freaking moly. You have 2 major arcanas, 1 and 2. There's like something moving forward. The sun is always the sun, whether it's up on the sky or down on the sky. It's sometimes, honestly, I like sun a little bit better when it's on a sunset because it's not burning you as much, and sometimes it's just like blinding you. It could be too much. So the light is coming through, some transparency is coming through. There is like a need to clarify things. You intuitively want to get an answer. You're calling somebody, or you want somebody to call you or communicate to you of some sort. This is also showing a child, and it's showing the wall and showing the barriers, but it's protective barrier in this particular situation. The Sun card can also talk about the children, and can talk in particular about the male child of some sort. It can be also talking about regeneration and birth of something new, right? So it's kind of like really similar energy. It's a much higher energy than magician, which means everything is possible. You have all the tools and you have to start moving forward. So this is saying not only yes, but that you're going to enter the next phase, and that phase is not going to be as clear, as decisive as you feel right now, but the next phase is going to be more like intuitive, where you need to find a solution, where the solution is not necessarily freely given, but it's telling you just to persist and to keep going, because you will actually find a good solution and you will pick the right choice. So this is all really, really good. And the last three is Page of Cups. Most likely you ask for something that you that is really close to your heart, or it could be a love question, and it is about a spark, it is a beginning, it's about a communication, it's about messaging, and the answer is absolutely yes. So I really, really hope this kind of like really help you guys, to give you a new direction. So I'm going to be here next week, and it's going to be 25th. So the day after my dad's birthday. So I don't think I'll be able to spend his birthday with him, because he's not keeping his health properly. He's just touching everything, and I have been very diligent about kind of like keeping myself healthy. So, but I'm sure that we are going to celebrate his birthday next time on the live. So thank you so much, guys. Yes, and Kylie and Kylie Knitting Yogi are really talking about the situation between the US and Australia. And Australia just went through this freaking fires, and then this plague, as I call it, hit. It's just like stuff. But just imagine that it can be worse. In my country, Croatia, they also had an earthquake on top of everything. Imagine my brother saying, "Oh, we are just all running out from our basically houses," and then we are looking at each other because we are supposed to be separated. And sure enough, they had the next wave of infections as a result of it. So it's just astonishing how, and this is exactly talking about that consciousness, collective consciousness, and collective focus into certain things. So just keep that in mind. So guys, let me play some music for us, for goodbye music, and hopefully we are going to touch base very, very soon next week. If you have any questions, or if you want this quantum healing codes document, I can send it to you. Just write it to me. It's a very powerful document, which people charge money, but it's not supposed to be charged for. And I really wish everybody get this good karma. So love you all, and hugs to everybody. Thank you for everybody showing up, helping, and have a wonderful and beautiful week. All the best.